Hi, I'm Gay.
I'm Carol.
Canopy, tick. Fridge and fridge slide, tick. And now...
An Enerdrive battery system with a 2000 watt inverter.
And Brad from Battery World is going to walk through it with us. Over to you, Brad.
Well, what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of things now while the solar blanket's going.
Yep.
Because it's on at the moment, so we've got some charge going in there. It's been running most of the morning, or sorry, since late morning all the way through. Put quite a bit of charge into your battery, so it's been charging up your battery really well.
Yep.
That's a 200 watt mat or a blanket. I think you've got a 200 watt mat.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you sort of have a look here, so this is your ePro Plus monitor. So this tells you what's going on with things. It's not. When it's done a full cycle, it will then give you full battery capacity. So when the battery's fully charged, it will say, okay, 100% charge, and then it can start to work out battery capacity. It will give you how long you've got run time based on the usage of the power you're using.
At the time, yep.
So it'll say, okay, you're running this much power. If you keep doing that, you'll run out of power within X amount.
And that'll
hours.
say that on that little panel.
Yeah. So basically, at the moment we've got 1.9 amps going in.
Yep.
So I would assume from that the panel is the fridge is cycling at the moment.
Yep.
So we're probably going to get about 7 from the sun because the sun's dropped a little bit in the sky.
Yep.
When the sun's perfectly overhead, we were getting 10 amps an hour.
Yeah, okay.
Off the 200 watt mat sitting on the bonnet. So when you hit that, the light comes on. So you can see we're getting 1.7 amps into the battery at the moment.
Yep.
That's 23 watts, so that's how many watts are going in.
Yep.
So, and then we got 4.2 amp hours. So basically 42 hours it believes it would run for.
Okay.
Based on the current output. So 13.28 volts and the 1.6 amps. So when it knows that it's a 200 amp hour battery, but the battery's not fully charged yet, so it hasn't started to measure it.
Yeah, okay.
So that's all. So basically we've got a few things going on here. So these are your circuit breakers.
Yep.
That's on for your fridge.
Yep.
And with your fridge, if you have a look through here, it's now connected to an Anderson plug. So
yeah, which will give a better draw, won't it?
Well,
like
it's
more consistent,
it won't come loose like a cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
So I replaced the whole cable.
Sweet.
Your old cable's here.
Yep.
I kept your old cable. I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Your old cable is there because what I've done is I've retained your 12 volt plug from your other auxiliary battery.
Oh, okay.
So that one is still connected to your second battery at the front.
Yep.
So if you ever have something go flat or wrong in the back, you can simply plug your fridge back into here.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
So you've got double outlets
backup
now.
research.
Double outlets.
Yep, perfect.
You've got your 4 USBs.
Yep.
So with your switches, basically switch 2 is your outlets.
Yep.
I'll put 2 outlets on the other side for you.
I saw that,
so you've got 2 USBs and another Sigma plug to run accessories and things on that side.
Cool. Yep.
So you've got USBs this side, Sigma plug on that side, Anderson plug here, Sigma plug here.
Yep.
Lights from this switch here, so number 4.
Number 4, yep.
And with your lights,
yeah, we know how these work.
basically on off, on off, dim them, panel them up.
Change the colour, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so change the colour, you've got the soft white, the yellow, so there's one on each side. So they have their own switches as well as the master. You've still got 2 redundant switches, so these switches could be used for something else one day.
1 and 3, yep.
And we could simply a matter of plugging something into the back of them and connecting them to
Alright, so we've actually got a travel buddy that we wouldn't, probably at some stage we wouldn't mind chucking in.
Travel buddy is a little Pi fridge,
Yeah,
they draw, I believe they draw about 7 to 10 amps.
Yeah,
I think they're one of the higher things, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
A bit higher than 7 to 10 amps?
Oh, they're on the higher level of
to the 10 amps, definitely,
Okay. As long as if it's a bit too high for one of these circuit breakers, see, that's 15 amp circuit breaker. If it's going to operate below that, we can plug it into the back of that switch.
Right.
If not, we'd have to just give it a separate connection.
Yeah, okay.
Not easily done. This just pops off and we can get straight to it.
Yeah.
Now you'll see your DC to DC charger is located over the back. Do you want me to pull the fridge out so we can get a good look at it? Now with your battery,
yep,
your 200 amp hour battery. So I'll get you to download the Enerdrive app. When you download the Enerdrive app, what it will do. But at the moment, there's a few batteries in the store, so it's picking up them as well. but I know your battery code.
Yeah.
So when you have the app, you'll only get 1 battery because you'll only be near 1 Enerdrive battery unless you're in a caravan park with lots of people. So the information you're seeing on this screen,
comes up on your app as well.
We can see on the app as well.
Sweet.
So you can see at the moment, when I first put the battery in this morning, it was at 45% state of charge.
It's at 73.
It's now at 73, and it's been running your fridge all day.
Okay, cool.
So that 200 amp blanket has taken it from 45% to 73%, and run the fridge all day at 5 degrees.
So that's perfect,
And a pretty warm day.
Yeah, that's right.
At the moment it's putting in 1.9, so that tells me the fridge is probably running. You're seeing the balance. Everything that's going in minus what's coming out. So you're seeing the net result. You can see in the back here, everything's pretty straightforward. So you can see here, and that tells me too. So the battery's seeing 2.1 amps, which tells me the fridge is drawing 4. Because you can see here we're 13.3 volts, and we're getting from the solar 6.1 amps.
Okay.
And so that topped out at 10, but it's probably not getting a great angle anymore. So all that's there, so you can see that's there, that's located there. As I told you, that's to your front battery, so it's just extra output. Because you've got a second battery there, you may as well use it in the back.
Exactly, yeah.
The travel buddy might be able to plug into that, because that runs to a second battery. Let me come around the other side, and I'll show you the inverter. The inverter's very straightforward. So you'll notice that the switch over there, which I think was switch number 2 with the, which I said outlet,
turn 4.
that's for these. So when you turn that on, this single plug and these USBs will become active. So you can leave them on all the time if you want to, but they are on a separate switch if you want. Battery's located here. If you ever flatten this battery completely to the point where it turns itself off, so lithium batteries will turn themselves off to protect themselves, you'll notice on the other side you've got that big green glowing button. That's your battery reset. So what that will do is that will connect your starter battery under the bonnet to this battery, reactivate the battery management system, and start the battery, and then you start charging it.
Okay.
So
and obviously that charges while driving as well. So
correct. So what I'll do is I'll start the car up, and we'll
solar.
The solar it'll go to the car, so it'll
okay, cool.
The car starting will override the solar.
Well, that's handy to know.
It'll prioritise car over solar. When you stop, it'll then go to solar.
Switch back. Okay.
So once the battery voltage drops to a certain level, it'll go, okay, car stop charging now, we'll now go to solar.
Sweet.
I upgraded on the inverter. I didn't have stock of the other one. So this is the higher grade ones. But this is the one with the built-in RCD. So this is against electrocution protection.
Yeah, cool.
So this is the built-in one. So basically that's the switch there. Plug in, away you go. I was running our heat gun on there, drawing 140 amps.
Okay.
This will run a kettle, coffee machine, various things. So 2,000 amps, consistently 4,000 amps on starter.
Okay.
They're a brilliant inverter. So once again, turn it off. I'd say.
So you just turn on when you use it and then turn it off.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, don't leave it on all the time because it does draw not an amp, but certainly a few milliamps. It does draw a few milliamps.
Yeah, cool.
Your backboard's all pinned all the way across here, all the way down there, all the way across. I ran the wires. There was no room behind. So a couple of wires across there.
That's good.
Now,
because it was a waste of space anyway, so it's awesome.
Correct. Now we might be able to see. You can now see your DC to DC chargers charging at 39.9 amps. So see 30.
Oh yeah, now I can.
So it's charging at 40 amps.
Yeah, and that's because the car's running.
Because the car's now running. So it's taking power from your alternator
and
charging.
Perfect.
Now the only other thing to look out for in the back here, between your inverter and your battery, there's a big fuse here. There's the 250 amp fuse.
Yep.
Just in there.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, the most I've ever seen one draw is about 180 amps. So 250 amp fuse is overkill. But that's what Enerdrive specify. So you've got plenty in reserve. I don't think I've ever heard of one blowing. This is all bolted down.
It looks good, and it's great use of space.
Yeah, so you've kept all this room. So the good part about the Enerdrive battery is it's almost a slimline in the 200 amp hour. I mean, some of the other batteries are this much wider. This is great. So, well, look, you can add to this if you wanted to, but I think you won't need to.
Under the bonnet.
Under the bonnet, so nothing too much under there. That's a KT one.
Okay, the hardcore one's good with a little volt regulator thingy on it though. Yeah, the regulator.
Yeah, the regulator.
Yeah, it's good.
Now you won't need, when you plug into this one.
Yep, I don't need it.
You won't use your regulator.
Okay, so I don't plug that in because I did read somewhere with the lithium and the AGL and everything like that.
Now you could if you wanted to connect it directly to the battery on the other side and run the lead that way.
Yep.
But when you connect it to the Anderson plug.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
This Anderson plug is going through the DC to DC charger.
Yep.
So the DC to DC charger is your solar regulator.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Alright?
Yep.
You know, sometimes if you're building a system, let's say you did put a solar panel on the roof.
Yep.
If you wanted to have vehicle charging while you're driving and solar going in, you would put a separate regulator directly to the battery. So then you can have two sources of charging.
Yep.
Where in this case, you have one or the other. So under the bonnet's really simple. Take the positive feed from there. This is your MIDI fuse, so it's 70 amp fuse. And then the power goes back down through here. So your earth is built to here.
Yep.
and your power goes in through there.
Yeah, okay.
So it's really simple. I've given you a spare fuse, so if that ever blows...
Yeah, we're covered.
But once again, the DC to DC charger is charging at a maximum of 40 amps.
Yep.
Most times under load, it's going to be drawing about 45, maybe 50 amps.
Okay.
So it's very unlikely to blow a 70 amp fuse.
Yeah, okay.
And you've still got your other DC to DC charger here, which is charging this battery.
Yeah.
So, you know, there'll be times when your alternator's going to be working hard if you flatten this battery as well.
Yeah,
You'll be trying to run both systems at the same time. But I think the Hiluxes have a 120 amp alternator, so you've got plenty in reserve. 60 to 70 amps a day.
Yeah, okay.
So in your case, you'd have to be driving nearly 2 hours to put that amount of power back in.
Okay.
So that's when solar's key.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? At some stage, if you get, you know, an opportunity, I'd be putting a hard mount panel on there, so it's ticking away all the time in the background. So you don't have to.
We had it. We went away in the 12 days before Christmas, and it was.
The first day we got a partridge in a pear tree.
But it was only up until Christmas Day.
Christmas Day we had the fridge.
But it was like
out.
36 degrees or something.
As long as you have your mat out and you're diligent about keeping it in the sun.
Yeah, that was
It was overnight, and we don't think that we let it.
We didn't have airflow through.
So we just think it got hot in there.
Things get hot, airflow, temperature. I mean, the hotter the fridge, the harder it's got to work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a black canopy. I mean, in there probably gets to.
But I know that we can put in insulation on the top, which will help it as well.
But
so
you get that stick-on insulation that sort of looks like it's got shiny aluminium on one side.
Yeah.
Your books for your reading.
Cool.
Now this little doohickey here. So because you've got the better inverter.
Yep.
On the bottom, it's got two little areas you can plug these into.
Okay.
What they do is they give us one cable, which I believe an electrician can chop. So what he could do is he can plug this in. One is an inlet, so if you ever wanted to have an inlet on the van where you pull up to a caravan park and you want to plug in to let's say to an outlet on your car, which is an inlet I should say, then when you plug in to your little outlet, you know, like a caravan does.
Yeah.
When you plug into your outlet, this would go to the inverter, and this would tell your inverter that you're plugged in.
Yep.
And it would tell the inverter to stop taking power from the battery, and everything would become live.
Okay, so you basically just use your inverter.
Yep.
But you can just run that from without touching your battery.
So that probably one step before that is this plug is the outlet. Your electrician can use this to plug in, and he can then run some additional cable around with some additional 240 volt outlets for you.
Oh, okay.
So this can go into the side of the inverter.
So that would only purely though be if we're going to plug in at a caravan park.
No. You can run additional outlets. So an electrician, we can't do it because we're not licensed for 240 volt.
Yep.
He can plug this in, run a cable in your canopy, and you can have another couple of GPO outlets at the back of your canopy if you want.
Yep. So
you can have other things that run off 240 volts elsewhere in the canopy. Not that it's not that far.
But
But that's what that's for.
Okay.
So you've got that, and then if you had that sort of system set up when you plugged in, it would stop using battery power and go to using mains power off the plug. But so that's just what that's for. So if you ever have an electrician, you want to do some extra wiring, that's what you'll give him.
All right.
So that's part of it. That's really it.
There's a power board. If we put a power board into that, can you do it or not?
Yeah,
you can.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a more fancy way of doing a power board.
We're really good at trial and error, we are.
Oh, yeah. And we're nail error.
As long as the error doesn't include smoke.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good.
I think it's pretty...
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So it's ticking along at 40 amps, so another... you'd be really close to 100%.
Yeah, okay. Sweet.
So with the app, though, try to remember to always refresh it. So basically disconnect your battery and then reconnect.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can just be looking at old data.
Yeah, okay.
It hasn't refreshed.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Awesome. That was Brad with our battery system.
So we recorded Brad showing us the battery system to walk through for all you guys. We also recorded it for our benefit as well, so we'd be able to go, oh, that's what that does.
The reason we got the battery system was so we can get off grid for, we're hoping, up to a couple of weeks. We got a 2000 watt inverter as well included in it. Main reason is so we can charge all our gadgets where we need to be. We carry a few little bits and bobs, and we can survive with just 12 volts, everything like that, no doubt. But it's a lot of hassle. This will really ease it up. We'll have longevity as in battery system or battery time. But also further down the track, we'll probably get ourselves a coffee machine.
If you like the video, give it a big like, big thumbs up. Comment down below or ask us any questions that you have. And stay tuned for some future videos on our battery system. And again, thank you to Brad from Battery World.